Hello friends and welcome to video discussion of English DG page. Today we will be discussing tricks for error detection. Whenever we say the word tricks, it basically means rules or some shortcuts to solve error detection questions. So moving on to our first rule or first trick, let's see what it says. It says subject plus am, is, are or was, were or will be, shall be will be followed by fourth form of the verb. Whenever we say fourth form of the verb, it basically means ing form of the word. Right, here we can see three examples and this rule will be even more clear when we will go through these three examples. Let's say what our first rule says, first example says. The first example says Rima is singing. Here Rima is subject, is a helping word from here and singing. Here you can see we have used fourth form of the word sing, that is ing by adding ing. Therefore, Rima is singing and you can say that it is showing present tense. Right, now moving on to our next example. The next example says they were reading. Here they is subject, were is used here. Therefore, we will use ing form of the word read, that is reading. And since the word were is written here, therefore we can say that this activity is sometime of the past and not of the present. Therefore it shows past tense. Now moving on to our third example. The third example says Rohan will be flying to the USA next month. Here again you can see Rohan is subject from here, will be from here, right? Flying, we can say that fly, ing form of fly verb to the USA next month. By adding ing, we have said that this is the fourth form of the verb fly. Right? Now, moving on to our next rule. Our next rule says subject plus have, has, had plus for third form. Here you can see the example also. We have two rules here and we have two examples also here. So we will first see the first case. That is subject plus have, has, had plus verb third form. Here you can see the example. Anita has done her work. Here Anita is subject, has done, has, and then you can see verb third form. Do, did, done. Third form of the verb do we have used here because subject plus has will be followed by third form of the verb. Done her work. Right, now we can see the next example of this case. Subject plus have, has, had plus been will be followed by fourth form of the verb. Since we have used been here, so we will use fourth form of the verb. We can see this through an example also. The example says they have been working since last Sunday. Here they is subject, have followed by been will take fourth form of the verb, that is ing form of the word, since last Sunday. Right, so this was our rule 2. Now moving on to our third rule. Our third rule says subject plus modal verb plus have will be followed by third form of the verb. We can see two examples also here. The first example says I could have done it. Here I is subject, could is modal verb. By adding have here we can say we will use third form of the verb, that is done. Do, did, done. Third form of the verb do we will be using here. Okay, now moving on to our next example. The next example says it might have rained. Here it is, you can say, a subject. Might is a modal verb. Rained, third form of the verb rain here. Right, so third rule says subject plus modal verb plus have will be followed by third form of the verb. Now moving on to our fourth rule. The fourth rule says object plus am, is, are or was, were plus being will be followed by third form of the verb. We can see two examples also here. We have two cases here. Let us discuss these cases. The first case says Mahesh sir was teaching students. Now here you can say Mahesh sir is subject and students is our object. Now to make this, to follow this rule, the rule says object plus verb after adding the word being will be, the verb will be followed by third form of the word. So you can see teach. Third form of teach is taught. So therefore we have used the word taught here. And then Mahesh sir will be at the last. So you can see the sentence here. Students were being taught by Mahesh sir. object plus word plus being will be followed by fourth form of the word. Sorry, third form of the word. Right? Now we can see the next example. The next example says Rohan is cheating here. Here Rohan is subject, her is object, and cheating is a verb. Right? So now we can see the transformed case of this sentence. She, object, is. After adding the word being, we can say we have used third form of the verb by Rohan. So she is being cheated by Rohan. So after seeing this example, we can say that object plus am is our oblique was word plus being will be followed by third form of the verb. Moving on to our fifth rule. The fifth rule says it is a case of unreal or imaginary condition. The rule says if plus subject plus word plus noun plus subject will be followed by first form of the verb. So here you can see the example also. If I were a bird, I would fly all day. If is subject, I were, a bird is a noun, I would. Again you can see would here, fly. After would we will use first form of the word fly. If I were a bird, I would fly all day. This sentence is as per the rule of imaginary condition. Right? Now moving on to a second example. The second example says, if I were a doctor, I would treat patients without any charge. Again, if plus subject plus word plus noun, I subject would treat. Again you can see first form of verb is used here, treat patients without any charge. So rule 5th is continued. We can see one more case here. If plus subject plus word plus noun plus subject plus would have will be followed by third form of the verb. When we say the would have, then we will use third form of the verb. In the previous slide we said only would. In that case we will use first form of the verb. Now we can see the two examples here. The first example says, if I were an eagle, I would have crossed the ocean. Here if plus I plus word and eagle is a noun, I subject would have. Since would have is used here, therefore we have used third form of the verb, that is crossed the ocean. We can see one more example here. The one more example says, if I were a doctor, I would have cured my patients without any charge. If I were a doctor, noun, I would have is used here. Therefore, we can say cured, third form of verb is used here, my patients without any charge. So, this was all for today's session. We have discussed certain tricks to solve error detection questions. This was all. So, for more sessions, keep visiting mahindraguru.com because your success is our success. You can also subscribe us on our YouTube channel. Till then, thank you.